My next pick, I'm going to go with the New York Jets.
Wow.
We're going high on the Jets this year.
I got to go down my
sure
list to scratch that off.
Last season, 7-10. 9.5 wins, though, is their win total projection. It's juiced a little to the over, -115. But they have the 29th ranked schedule in the NFL. They added this offseason Mike Williams, Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, John Simpson, Hassan Reddick, possibly, Olu Fashanu and Malachi Corley in the draft, left tackle and slot receiver, respectively. It's a lot. They only lost Laken Tomlinson, Bryce Huff, who kind of is like a swap for Hassan Reddick, Jordan Whitehead, the safety, and Mekhi Becton, who was oft injured. So I'd say more good than bad. And then obviously the big addition, Aaron Rodgers coming back from injury. So my only burning question is how can they get these new parts to gel? Because on offensively, Aaron Rodgers, Mike Williams, Malachi Corley, Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, like a lot to get into the fold quickly there. Now, a lot of those guys have been around the block. They are old for the most part. Keeping them healthy is also a big question with this roster. But if they do gel, and this does work, like what I see here, this is a darn good football team because they've had the best defense in the AFC for 2 years running now. 2 years running. It just needed anything on the offense side of the ball. They still won 7 games last year. And now they go from Zach Wilson to Aaron Rodgers. So that's why I'm picking them with the fourth pick.
I do love that pick, and that's a ballsy pick there, Mike. And I respect it. And here's why. And I like your burning question. And to answer it, I would say, yes, they're going to gel. It's because they've got a guy named Aaron Rodgers who communicates really well. He takes these guys who are newcomers, brings them under his wing. Next thing you know, they all feel at home under Aaron Rodgers' tutelage. The burning question I have is this offensive line that we see trot out there week 1 going to look anything like the offensive line we see in week 18? That will determine the success of Aaron Rodgers, the Jets, his health. All the burning questions will be answered. It all comes down to the offensive line. You and I both like the pieces they brought in. You and I like the plan. We think, obviously, you really like it. You've got them high. But to me, if you can't stay healthy up front, that will determine the Jets' success.
I will say, though, they gave themselves good – the Fashanu pick, that's insurance. Like not many teams have a guy that looks that good right now as a swing tackle option. And truthfully, he could even start at guard if they wanted to.
Swing O-lineman.
Yes. Like not a lot of teams have that flexibility.
A Joe Thuney type.
Yes. So that right there is immediately night and day from what we saw from him last year, where any injury turned that O-line into bad paper.
Yeah, well, it was in conjunction with the fact that the signal caller wasn't savvy, didn't have moxie, didn't have a general couth about him in the pocket.
Hey, what you really think here?
That's what happens when you've got a underperforming O-line with an underexperienced quarterback. It just doesn't pair well. It's like me in muscle shirts. I get man boobs and my tire sticks out from my waist. It just doesn't work.